Welcome everybody to your Wednesday yoga. So my name is Emma and I'm here with you for Fit Mums and Friends, and today's class is prenatal yoga because yesterday was meant to be prenatal yoga and I taught the wrong class. So if you signed in yesterday, you may have been a little confused. So I taught postnatal yesterday instead of prenatal. So today we have a prenatal yoga class. So if you're tuning in and you want the postnatal, just head on to yesterday's video and it will be there for you on the page. And I must apologise to you all for that. It was only when I was going to sleep last night that I realised it was Tuesday and I taught the wrong class. Obviously, if you guys were all in front of me, I would have known that it was a prenatal class. So welcome. This is actually going to be prenatal yoga today. So if you've just joined and are watching live and you want postnatal, I apologise. I taught it on the wrong day. So please join however you're feeling, whatever you are up to today. This class will be for all. Bear with me, I'm just going to sort out the screen really quickly. Okay, great. So welcome to your prenatal class. Please make sure you feel well enough to practice today. If you have any questions or anything, just pop them in the comment box there. So we're going to start seated. We're not going to be seated for too long. We will get moving through the body. A little cooler out there today, but also very refreshing with the rain. Take a moment either to take a seat, or if you feel comfortable lying down. You can be sat on a sofa, a chair, or on the floor. I'm just kneeling here close to the computer. Bring your hands on towards your baby bump, or on towards your heart, or on towards the legs. And maybe gently close the eyes. And as you close the eyes, just let the jaw soften. Maybe swallow through the throat a couple of times so you can relax through the throat. And notice as you pause for a brief moment how you can invite in a little bit of quiet. The world at the moment feels like quite a noisy place. So notice as you take a moment within the sanctuary of your home, maybe you're at work, that you can create this time to step away from the noise. And step into the quietness of your prenatal phase. Taking a few more breaths. Very patiently taking this seat. Closing the eyes. And just noticing. Maybe the silence of your home or your work gets a little louder as we gradually get a little quieter. And as you sit or lie, the past few months have been very, very focused on the first chakra of the energy body. The first chakra relates to our survival in life, our need and our ways of managing this, making sure we have food, warmth. And when your baby arrives, that's very much what they are about, creating this first chakra. So if, as you go forward into your pregnancy, you keep coming back to these poses, standing poses, grounding poses, breath, anything that calms and creates stability in the system is to build this base of the body so that all the other energy centers can stack. We can create our conversations, our thoughts, our decisions from a very grounded place. Just taking one more breath there. And then you can keep the eyes closed or open, and you might want to stretch the legs out. So I'm just going to stay close to the computer or the camera, but you can stretch the legs out and be in a wide leg seated forward fold. So you've got a little stretch through the legs, or have your feet on the floor if you're on a chair. Just bring one hand towards the floor, then take the other arm up and over. Now as you take a side stretch here, have softness in the elbow. You can look down, you can look up. So these I think of them as morning stretches. Although we are now mid-afternoon, I do not know how the time goes so fast. I think of them as morning stretches, something we want to build into the beginning of our day, but we can repeat them at any time. And then let's come back to center and let's take that to the other side. Fingertips press. So beginning to stretch through the side body, which can get a little compressed sometimes, especially later on in the pregnancy when you have less space. Sometimes I walk the fingertips out a little more and maybe look up. Gentle breath. And release the hands back down. Good. Just taking the hands out, clasping the palms together and just rolling the wrists. So this work through the joints is really, really good. As you probably have noticed, you have more fluid in the body. Did you know the heart grows up to 12% when you're pregnant? It's a good little area of research. So sometimes let's take that the other way. The joints can get a little stiff. You might experience some sinus issues as well. So if you're curious about that, have a look about how much more fluid you have in the body when you're pregnant and the whys. It's very, very interesting. Good, release the hands. Just give the hands a little shake. Excellent. So I'm going to move away from the computer. If you haven't already, just stretch out your legs and give the feet a point and flex while I'm moving away. So just give the feet a point and flex. Can't see mine, so I'll lift mine up, point and flex, point and flex. And you can do this with both feet at the same time. So just stretching them out, beginning to just kind of pump the energy in towards the legs. It's a great one for the ankles and the feet. So if you're at home and you're a little fatigued, you don't want to go out walking or exercising or anything like that, then just as I'm doing here, I'm just going to hold the foot to show you. Just a point and a flex, and a point and a flex. Really, really good. You've probably done this if you've been on a long haul flight. It get you to kind of pump the blood around. So let's just do a couple more there. Excellent, and bring that foot down. Really, really good. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. I'm just going to shift back a wee bit. Soles of the feet together and knees apart. Now, if you've got anything going on with the pelvis and it doesn't feel right to have the knees apart, just have the legs stretched out into a seated forward bend. If it feels okay, we're going to start from here today. So, lengthening up through the heart, lift up through the heart, and then begin to move forward just a little bit. And as you move forward just a little bit, press the knees down towards the floor. Apologies, I just need to clear the screen real quick. Good. And take about 5 breaths there. So as you breathe here, what we're doing is now working into the energy of the legs, but also up into the pelvis. Pelvis relates to second chakra, that area of creativity, of going with the flow, often our relationships. So as you take a moment with the knees wide, soles of the feet together, you might just want to invite in a little bit of movement. Maybe side to side. If you wish to, you can have the hands behind you if that feels better, and giving a little stretch into the front body. And take a couple more breaths. And so today's class is designed to work in towards the legs and move the body a little bit, but also to let the nervous system rest a little. Just taking another breath there, coming back to center and lifting back up. Good. Stretching one leg out in front of you, so it's long out in front of you, and bring the other foot in towards the thigh. So from here, lengthen up through the sides of the body. Make sure you've got enough space for baby bump. So you might need to move this camera. So we're probably going to do a lot seated today, actually. I've got a plan, but let's see how we go. This leg, instead of being out, that's better. Instead of being out, you can take it out to the side. So you've got more space. Okay, so a couple of options there. I've sat up on a cushion as well, just to give me a little bit more height. And then we're going to walk the hands forward. Now, this stretched out leg, I would often flex the foot and be pressing the leg into the floor. But for today, I'd love you just to have that quite relaxed. Hands towards the floor in this kind of bowing down motion. Just letting the chest soften, maybe the head soften in its movement, so we're not holding it too rigid. So you'll feel this a little bit in towards the legs, maybe the outer hip, and the belly, the pregnancy, baby bump, just let that soften. Might even be resting down towards your heel, depending how far you're moving forward. And then again, a little bit of movement there, so you might lean towards that bent knee, towards the outstretched leg, and then coming up, one hand to the floor, and we repeat those side stretches, so reaching up and over, hand to the floor, and up and over. We've got a few more like this, the legs staying in the same format, legs stretched out or out in front of you, reaching up and over. So we've got that centre of the belly, and we've got stability in the legs, and we're bringing that creativity of movement in towards the arms, allowing the lungs and the ribs, that long stretch, that big breath in. Last one here, reach up and over, and back to centre. As you come back to centre, bringing hands on towards your belly, and just taking a couple of breaths. And we pause with a lot of time to reduce that sense of overwhelm that you may be experiencing right now, pregnant, and within this unusual time, let's bring that leg in and take the other leg out. And I find that when I'm feeling overwhelmed, sometimes it can be something like getting too many messages on Instagram or things like that. I just take a step back, turn off my phone, go for a walk, do some yoga. So if you are sensing that overwhelm from something in life, maybe learning a lot online about pregnancy, it's always good to take a step back and just do some simple stretches like this. So I've got the other leg stretched out, foot relaxed, excuse me, heel in, and walking the hands forward. And in your yoga practice, remember you can move a little here if you wish. In your yoga practice, there's no reason why you can't do strong movements. I often teach quite strong yoga classes for pregnancy. However, a lot of the feedback that I'm getting right now is that we are experiencing overwhelm in this current situation. And so seated poses, a little bit of movement can allow us to work with that. And take a few more here. You can stretch kind of side body one way, and I often come up onto finger tops. So I'm just giving you a few extra little moves today in case you want to do this during the rest of your pregnancy. This is our last prenatal session today. Oh my goodness. All right, bring the hands back. One hand to the floor, other hand up and over. And all the moves can be done by anybody that's fit and well. So if you've got your partner with you, or your housemate, or a parent, or a sibling, or someone, then these moves can be done by them as well. So you can do these sessions together if you wish. So now as we stay seated, we're just moving one arm over into these side stretches. Last one here, and if you've just joined us, this is prenatal today because I got my days in a muddle and taught postnatal yesterday. But you could probably do this class as well. Good, come back to centre, excellent. Bring that leg in, cross the legs for a moment, hands back to your baby bump. Draw the chin slightly in. Maybe there's a little smile. And we just take a couple of long, easy, restorative breaths there. And exhaling. You can have the eyes closed for a moment. Good. And gently opening the eyes. Well done. Let's come on to all fours. A pose or poses that's probably quite familiar to you now, that we've done a lot. But you know what? Simple I find is best. Not in just pregnancy yoga, but in all yoga. We want to look at how we walk away feeling. So coming on to all fours, we're going to work cat and cow pose. So cat pose, press down through the hands and arch the spine, press through the shins, draw baby bump in. Keep that sensation of hugging it in slightly, and the heart lifts and tailbone lifts. Go nice and slow. We repeat, curling in. Think of a little squeeze of the thighs together. And then heart comes forward, looking forward. Good. Let's do 3 more there. Curling in. And looking forward. So think of it like a little massage for the spine. 2 more here. Curling in. You can press down quite firm or softly. Really what works for your body today. And last one here, there's that squeeze of the thighs together and arching the spine. Good. Tuck the toes under. Now you can stay working with that cat-cow, okay? If you feel it's okay for your body, we're going to lift into downward facing dog. And I'm going to be here if you're not sure. Just tuck the t-shirt in. Okay, so toes tucked, sit bones lift up. Now, because of pregnancy, you might need to take the feet a little wider than normal. Just make sure they're comfortable. Well, not the normal, but that's what's normally offered. A little bend or a big bend of the legs. And then again, that little drawing of the pregnancy towards you, baby bump in towards you. And I've been teaching this a lot this week. A little bend and stretch. So just begin to pedal through the legs. Come into cat-cow at any time. We've just got a couple more breaths. Breathing in and out. Couple more. Good. And then bringing the knees back down. Walking the hands over to one side. Excuse me. Root down through the shins and draw the pelvis back. So we're getting into a bit of a side stretch now, but again, it depends on your pregnancy, how far you want to move back. You can glue the palms down and really lengthen through that side body. Maybe move a little bit. Good. Come back to center and take that to the other side. So you guys just move to the other side of your mat. I'm just going to turn around so you can still hear me very clearly. So I walk the hands over and draw the pelvis back. And again, does it feel good to kind of wriggle, to yawn and stretch the jaw, to move a little bit? Good. Come back to center. And again, we take either cat-cow or downward facing dog. So we begin to get that long stretch into the legs and towards the spine. Take the feet a little wider and a little pedal again through the feet. Good. Coming back towards the knees. Coming to kneeling for a moment, and again, we just pause. Taking a moment to breathe, because there's always so much to do in life, right? So this class today is designed a little bit of movement, a little bit of rest. We're going to stay close to the floor to maintain that stability in the body so we can manage and negotiate the situation with ease. From here, let's bring the right foot forward. So we're going to come into a lunge. You can support the back knee with a blanket. Left hand on towards that right leg. Taking the right arm forward, up, around and back. We've got this 4 more times. You can go deeper into the lunge if you wish. Forward, around and back. 3 more here. Working in towards that circular action of the arm, working into the shoulder blades, side body, even in towards the neck. Last one here, you can do this sat on a chair if you wish. Good, bring that knee down and the other foot forward. So we come into a lunge onto the other side. Now I'm not going too far into the lunge. You can absolutely, if you wish to, if you want to get a deeper stretch into the front of that leg. Otherwise, right hand onto the left knee or vice versa, and the other arm reaches forward and round. So we take 5 big arm circles there. So beginning to work into the shoulder. This is a great one postnatal as well, so you can get that space through the body. I often tune it a little bit to the breath. Breathing in, reach up, and out, the arm comes down. Let's make this the last one. Good, and bringing those hands back towards the floor, and we take downward facing dogs. We've got quite a few downward facing dogs in class today, so remember child's pose if you don't wish to do this shape. A few rounds of breath, a little bend and stretch. Few rounds of breath, getting in towards the calves and beginning again to pump the energy around the body. Last one here. And the knees touch down. Well done. Let's move the body a little bit. So hands onto the floor, knees a little wider than hips, and take the hips in a circle. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of class, we've done a lot with stability for the legs and the pelvis. And so as we move here, just moving into the lower back, the bottom of the spine, the SI joint, and then you can invite this movement up towards the heart, up towards the head. We're still going in the same direction, just rolling through the spine. Good. And take this in the opposite direction. And these are wonderful movements for pregnancy, especially now as we're at home a little bit more, or maybe you're working from home, that you can just begin to tap into that energy. So let's take a few more circles here. Again, let the head and the neck move. And making that the last one. Well done. Either child's pose or downward facing dog. So quite a few inversions in here today, if the body wishes for them. Child's pose or downward facing dog. And then you can either stay still in this downward facing dog. Remember, the feet might need to come a little wider. You can bend the legs, straighten the legs, draw the baby bump in towards you. Just one more breath there. And then if you're not already, knees towards the floor and extend back into child's pose. So stretch the body out in front of you. And let the arms soften. So although I'm looking towards the camera, keep the head towards the floor. Make sure the knees are wide. Soften through the arms. Soften through the breath. And take 2 to 3 more breaths there. If child's pose isn't comfortable, come up to kneeling instead. And last one there. Well done. And then if you're not already, come up to kneeling. So I'm going to again take the cushion or a blanket, or you can sit on a chair, excuse me, and just crossing the legs for a brief moment. So as you cross the legs, intersect at their shins and have a little flexion in towards the feet. Think of lifting a little bit through the heart. So again, we're not slumping in the body. We get that side body stretch and just placing the hands towards the legs or towards baby bump. Taking a couple of breaths. We're going to move into a twist in a moment. But first of all, just taking a moment there to breathe. And then keep the right hand onto the right knee or vice versa and bring the opposite hand behind you. You can bring the arm across, but depending on how pregnant you are, it might feel more comfortable there. And think of it not so much as a twist, but as just a very gentle turn. So we begin to get maybe up in towards the shoulder blades a little bit. You might feel it a little bit in the belly, so if it's uncomfortable, come away from the pose. And then maybe the head turns just a little bit. Taking one more breath. Good, back to center. Let's repeat that to the other side. So either keeping same hand to same knee or hand to opposite knee. And then think more of a turn than a twist. So you want to take it quite gentle in towards the body. No deep, big twists necessary. Couple more breaths. And let the breath be quite grounding, quite stabilizing, quite nurturing. And back to center. Well done. Either taking a moment to lie down or stay seated and bring hands towards the belly. Gently closing the eyes. And we come back to the beginning. So as you rest for the last minute of our practice, noticing the beauty, the fullness, the abundance in your pregnancy. As you breathe in, drawing in that fullness, that abundance, feeling its confidence in your system. As you sit or lie, just know that over the past few months, we've worked strength in the legs and the body, the arms, but also strength in your nervous system, your emotional body. So that when things change quickly or slowly, you can pivot and move very intuitively with what you know. Take in a breath in and out. Bring your hands towards your belly, heart or prayer. Take a little bow down to each other, to Fit Mums and Friends for providing this platform for all this yoga we've had, and to the wonder of you. Thank you so much for joining me. My name's Emma Heald, and I really look forward to seeing you again at a class. If you have questions about prenatal yoga or postnatal yoga, please contact Fit Mums and they can pass your messages on to me. It's been a pleasure practicing with you over the past few months, and please let us know any feedback, and wish you well in your pregnancy. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.